I would like to emphasise that I strongly believe in freedom of speech. I don't have a problem somebody purporting a theory, writing fiction, suggestions.
Hello, people! Thank you for joining us. It's the OnlyCans! McCann Special Part 2, backed by popular demand because, number one, Craig, I think we should honestly do a Part 3, but we'll talk about that another time. When I was doing more research today, I found more and more things that I would like to discuss. But we've only got an hour, so we'll keep it short, we'll keep it interesting for you. Basically, we are here to just relay facts from the PJ files and give our own opinions. We will state when it's our own opinions. It is for educational purposes and slightly for entertainment. So today we're going to really be talking about the cadaver dogs and also the DNA that was found as well. Yeah. So first of all, I'm just going to jump into the comments, Craig, and see who's here, if you don't mind. So yes, of course, Crone's got her seat. I love that. First comment, first person. You win a prize today, Crone. Crazy Bunny's in the house. Thank you for coming, my dear. Teresa, my wee mod, favourite mod in the house. Thank you. Oh, Kath in the house. And we've also got Shikesh in the house at the Spiritual Effect. If you've not already, go over and give him a wee sub. He's got some fabby motivational wee shorts and things for you. And also, if you've not subbed to this channel, get subbing, please. If you're watching on replay, thank you so much. Just takes a wee second for all of you just to hit the thumbs up and to obviously subscribe if you haven't already. I have noticed that about 60% this week of the people that watch our videos are not subscribed. So if it is the content that you'd like, it would really help us grow. Yeah. Anyway, so yes, thank you so much, Lorraine. Thank you so much for joining us too. So like I said, we're going to be covering the cadaver dogs, what they found, the discrepancies, DNA. We've got a couple of pictures to show you and we've got a couple of videos to show you as well. But first of all, Craig, is there anything that you would like to say?
No, I think you've covered everything there. Part one went so well for us.
Absolutely.
You know, the most views that we've had, and it's just to sort of say to everyone as well that this is like we're doing this just now, but we are going to go back to our sort of lighter OnlyCans and invite a few people on and things like that. But because obviously part one went so well, and I just want to say to you actually, well done, because you have thrown yourself into this and you've done amazing. Like, I'm so proud of you because you really have. And it's one of the, I was thinking when I was walking the dog, right, I was like, it's one of the cases that like everywhere you turn, there's a rabbit hole. So like as soon as you start looking at one thing, it leads to another, and it totally can like muck with your head. And it's like,
it really does. There's rabbit holes that I'm like, right, you could really go down that, but let's like draw it back a wee bit because
that's what I do.
There is some
I try and
craziness, but you know,
you have to try and stick with the
facts.
I just stick with the facts.
Yes,
that way you don't get yourself in too much bother. But it's one of the few cases that can really affect your mental health, I think, because it's like you start realizing like, wow, this is like not.
Well, my son was ages with Madeline when she went when she disappeared. And I do remember Dylan constantly seeing her picture in the papers. Of course, I'd explained who she was, that you know she'd gone missing, and he kept saying, you know, have they not found that wee girl yet, Mum? So it was a heart twang, obviously, because he was aware of it. I didn't like that he was aware of it and that he was having to comprehend the fact that a child's gone missing at that age. It's not good, but it's life. So I always, it's not as if I've just went like a deep dive for this. I was very intrigued with it. You know me, anything that's like
you kind of knew anyway. You knew bits and pieces.
Absolutely,
you've really thrown yourself into it, and I'm so proud of you because.
I tell you what, see, doing a wee refresh for part one, I was like 18 hours.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I need to watch more. I need to watch more because I need to find out this. And a huge shout out to Richard D. Hall because he really does cover a lot. And like you say, you have to pick what you kind of go forward with. But today, well, the last 2 days when I've been doing it for part 2, there's more questions. I've got more things, but then you could maybe answer them. So yeah,
I'll try.
No, but you don't know. I don't know exactly what you know. To be fair, so yeah, I think that's awesome that Susan and Stephen are listening from Glencoe in their wee van.
Glencoe.
Can you give them? Yeah, how awesome's that?
That's class.
And I want them to give Frankie their wee spaniel a wee snuggle for me. Thank you. So yes, aye, will we play that wee video? I made a wee video earlier on. It's just literally showing.
Yeah. So we're just picking up
with the dogs, what they alerted to. So yeah, if you bear with me, guys, I'm hoping this will work.
Couple's bedroom in apartment 5A in an area next to the wardrobe. 2. Eddie signalled cadaver order in the same apartment in an area near the living room window, which has direct access to the street behind the sofa. 3. Eddie signalled cadaver order at the same apartment in the garden area in a square corner vertically below the balcony. 4. Eddie signalled cadaver order in the Vista de Mar Villa, that is, the house that was rented by the McCanns after leaving the Ocean Club, in the area of a wardrobe that contained inside it the soft toy cuddle cat that belonged to Madeleine McCann. 5. Eddie signalled cadaver order on 2 items of clothing belonging to Kate McCann, which were examined in a pavilion in Lagos. 6. Eddie signalled cadaver order on the door of the Renault Scenic, registration 59DA27, by the lower outside area next to the driver's door. 7. Eddie signalled cadaver order on the key card of that vehicle when it was hidden under a fire prevention sandbox. Strangely, the Attorney General's report actually left out some of the alerts, clearly mentioned by Martin Grime in his report. As for Keeler, the bloodhound dog, the Attorney General said this. 1. Keeler, the dog that detects the presence of human blood, signalled an area in the living room in apartment 5A, which had already been signalled by Eddie. 2. Keeler, the dog that detects the presence of human blood, signalled the same area again as where Eddie had signalled, in the living room of the apartment. 3. Keeler, the dog that detects the presence of human blood, signalled the lower part of the left-hand side curtain of the window in the same living room. 4. Keeler, the dog that detects the presence of human blood, signalled the right lower lateral part of the inside of the boot of vehicle 59DA27. 5. Keeler, the dog that detects the presence of human blood, signalled the storage compartment on the driver's door which held the vehicle's key card. 6. Keeler, the dog that detects the presence of human blood, also signalled the car's key card when the same was hidden under the fire service sandbox inside the parking lot. The Attorney General added for good measure, the viewing of these videos, whose contents is very impressive, becomes essential to understand the dog's action and signalling more than by any words. We know from the book written by Portuguese detective Gonçalo Amaral that the report of Martin Grime on his dogs was dynamite. The Portuguese police had been doubtful of the McCann's version of events from day one. Their suspicions had led them to take advice from the British police. Top British police officers said it was reasonable to suspect that the parents had lied about what had happened to Madeleine and may have covered up her death, whether it was accidental death or otherwise. Now they had what to them seemed concrete confirmation of their hypothesis. At around the same time, they had preliminary forensic results back from samples of blood and blood fluids found in the living room of the McCann's apartment and in the Renault Scenic that they hired. These first results showed that the samples matched the DNA from Madeleine in 15 out of 19 indication, roughly, only a 1,000,000 to 1 chance that these samples were not from Madeleine. The police had got powerful indications from the alerts of the 2 Springer Spaniels. The DNA results were heading in the same direction.
Right, so yeah, I just thought I would refresh everybody's brain if they never already knew where the alerts were found. Do you have anything to say on that, Craig?
Yeah, the alerts to the hire car are the most damning, right? Because as Teresa has just said in the chat, there wasn't just their hire car that was sitting there. There was I can't remember. I want to say 10.
It was 3. No, I think there was that then the big car park where they played out the clothes and the cars. Yeah, they
I'm
did
not sure the
take a few
clothes were there,
cars.
but maybe but there was a few cars, and
Yeah.
straight away the dog had an interest in their car, brought over, let in, started alerting, and the 15 of the 19 markers that were found, right, where Richard D. Hall says 1,000,000 to 1 chance it's not Madeline. The 15 to 19 markers, see if that was found in the UK, they would have been charged, because in the
Oh,
UK,
yeah.
15 and 19 markers, you can charge on that. In Portugal,
Wow,
it's got to be a complete match, so it's got to be 19 and 19. So
wow.
there you go. It's like the luck of
And
the draw kind of thing, isn't it?
I've seen what Kate's response to that was as well, about the hire car, about the dogs alerting to the hire car, that she watched the video and the dog was clearly led to where it was meant to be.
Yeah.
And the fact that they had Maddie posters in the car, so obviously the guy's going to know where. I mean, he's not going to lead the dog to let on to false. A dog can't lie. Do you know what I mean? Cadaver dogs can't lie.
You've got to then start. So what they did is they alluded to Martin Grime being that he helped the dogs alert. So
yeah, that's what I mean.
Aye, so what they would, I mean, how big a conspiracy are you talking here? That Martin Grime decided to come over and make his dogs alert to the McCanns. But the fact that gets missed on that, right, is that they sometimes I see people saying, "Oh, but you can get a false alert." Right. First thing first, are you going to get 17 false alerts relating to one family? They didn't alert all over the place. They're related to one family. I mean, it's just beyond, you know, why would he do that, right? Why would he decide to put his reputation on the line, right? And help give false indications for an alert. But the thing that gets missed is that the dog's done their job. The dogs actually found traces. They're the only traces of Madeline in 16 years are what the dogs found. Like, that is what gets missed, is that they didn't just give false alerts. They found, now I'm quoting European Court of Human Rights here, they found blood in the apartment, right? The blood dog alerted and they found blood, right? And then the dogs alerted at the hire car where they found the 15 of the 19 markers. So the dog's done their job. So so you can say, try and twist it in like contact DNA and things like that, and scraped knees and nosebleeds and all that stuff that came out. But this is all noise, because the dog's done their job. The dog's found the only traces of Madeleine McCann that's been in 16 years. So that's where it becomes like, I get really passionate about that, because you can't say it was say it was it wasn't a false alert, because the dog's done what they were supposed to do, you know. And they had 100% record at the time. And Martin Grime like now works for the FBI.
Is it maybe 200 cases that basically the dogs were bang on with, because they were all convicted? Yeah. So the dogs
they were the best. They were the best in the world. Think about that. They were the best in the world.
Absolutely.
If there was one or two alerts, right, I would go, well, you know, balance. But 17 alerts, like, that is it's too much. That it's overwhelming, and it's also their response to it. Their response to it wasn't met with like how you would be. You'd be like, oh my God, does that mean my daughter fell and bled and got taken? Was she dead when the abductor came in? Their response was like so aggressive. They were like,
well, in part one, we've seen that. Ask the dog, Sandra.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
He
lost his cool there, you know. He lost his McCann cool.
Because you're questioning him. And this is the perfect time. What we'll do is we'll just very quickly go through what I sent you about his statement, right?
Can I just say one last wee thing about the dogs just before we shift on to that? Not one wee last thing about the dogs, but Kate and Jerry, actually, I've got my lemon water, pal. I'm living the clean life.
I'm saying nothing.
Anyway, as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, I'm not joking. No, Kate and Jerry, actually, there was a case in America, one case, where the guy was accused of killing his wife. The cadaver dogs were brought in. They let on to decomposition in 2 areas of his house. It went to court, and he actually got found not guilty, because he was able to say that the cadaver, well, not him personally, but his law firm, the lawyers were able to say that cadaver dogs were not reliable. And anyway, so the guy got found let off, right? And Kate and Jerry like clung onto this case, but little did they know that 20 years later or whatever it was, he confessed. He admitted that he did. So the dogs were right.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know?
Yeah,
And
that
that's only
was.
one case.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that
I had
was.
to drop that in because that annoyed me. And answer to your question, Lauren, I just Googled it. Dogs are able to pick up a scent within minutes of death or years later. In some studies, they found that 25-year-old skeletonized remains buried in an area of 300 by 150 feet. So, you know, their wee sensors can definitely pick up on what they're trained to.
What they try to say about that is the scent of cadaver. So the actual smell of death can roughly take about 2 to 4 hours to start.
Okay.
Although there is some reports that say 30 minutes, 40 minutes, but
But
everything
that
that
would
I've
depend on how warm the room is. Like
possibly,
decomposition is going to be different, isn't
yeah,
it? If
yeah,
you're in a
absolutely.
snow place or a roasting place, a snow place, a cold
Absolutely.
place, hot place. It's been a long day. I've been up since 5.
But yeah, so it does vary, but I think I tend to go with the 2 to 4 hours from what I've read. And yeah, dogs don't lie. Exactly.
No, absolutely. Just want to say thanks to Shug for joining us, and thanks to Shane for joining us. And I think that was the 2 new people that I've seen in the wee chat there. Thank you very much for joining us. And you're right, Shane, dog smell is amazing.
Yeah. Anyone who owns a dog, right, and the dog is not trained to detect anything, right? If you go and hide a treat and let your dog sniff it out, right? And that dog's not trained to do that, right? Imagine a dog that is professionally trained. So one of the things that Martin Grimes says that when he was went to work with FBI, right, took his blood dog with him, and they were a bit like not too sure on it. So what they've done is they set out a scientific sort of what's the word, like a test, right? So they laid out 12 mats for the dog, right? 12 big mats, and they got a wee tiny drop of blood, like in a wee sort of sucker thing, right? And they dropped the one little spot of blood on the mat, right? And they let the dog, 12 big mats, and they let the dog go away and sniff it out. Found it. Now, not only did the dog find the tiny little spot of blood that Martin Grimes' dog went and found, it actually showed them not just the mat, it showed exactly where the drop of blood was placed. So the dog's nose was pressed right against it. So it's absolutely damning. It's damning against them.
It really is. And I think they knew that, you know, obviously that's why they went on the defence. What I'll do, do you want me to put that slide up just now and we can go through what Jerry said about the dogs, the DNA and what have you. So bear with me. I'll need to find which one it is. Oh yeah, I totally done this, eh? So yeah, I mean, there you go. That's that. If you want to explain this picture a wee bit, Craig. And I'm sorry, guys. I know it's a wee picture. I tried to make it big and it just went all blurry. So I'm learning.
Yeah. So this is where the couch was placed. And in the crime scene photo, if you look, just Google Madeleine McCann crime scene couch, you'll see the couch is actually. It looks odd, man. It's so rammed against that wall, like it's out of place. It's weird. So they push it, so it's pushed so hard against the wall, right? And then later on, all these numbers here are what, like blood speckle. So what one of the theories could be, this is just a theory that I've read, right?
I have another picture of the blood spatters. It's
that one. Yeah. So one of the theories would be, and I sort of, once as I'm saying this, I don't like saying it, but right, so that there'd been a fall and choking on blood could have been, or CPR performed, those kind of things would sort of speckled around, and where the tiles are lifted was where, in my opinion, the most damning evidence was found was swab 3A, which to me proves that she fell behind the couch, because that's where I just follow the evidence. That couch is so sensitive to them. You know, they didn't. The problem that they've got is that they didn't even, because they met it with aggression. They met it with like, well, you know, just that's wrong. It's a false alert. Like, how did they know? Like, how did they know if they didn't know what happened? How could they know that she didn't fall or you know, somebody done something to her, somebody grabbed her and banged her head to shut her up and take her out. Who knows? You know, because you don't know what happened. So that is your natural instinct would be to worry about that. So yeah, that is. There's also so I also believe that Portugal still hold the curtains, the original curtains, from that window. So I think they still hold those as evidence that they never released that in the PG files. So
wow. That's madness, eh? Absolute madness.
There was
got
also
another slide as well. Sorry, just listen. Do you want to read the bit of the statement? But you'll need to use your phone because I need to learn how to use slides better and get better qualities of pictures and stuff, you know?
Yeah, so this ties in with what they were saying about the dogs, right? So the dog that detects human blood signaled human blood behind the sofa, right? And Jerry says, I can't explain this. So, and you know, instead of saying things like, it was a nosebleed, it was no comment would have probably been a better answer. He says,
so when did they say that she did have a nosebleed? Because they did say that she had a nosebleed.
We'll go into that. So
all right, sorry. So that was later on, right? Okay.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same interview. So this is when he's first asked about this, and he's interview. They bring it up. Then they ask, was she injured? Was Madeline injured on any occasion on the holiday? Then he says no comment. Right. So first of all, he says I can't explain. Then he says no comment. So the lawyer for Jerry says he wishes the Arguido, Jerry, to be asked again if Madeline bled. So at this point, right, what had happened was they were asking questions. His lawyer interjected, had a word in the quiet, came back and said, can you ask that question again about her bleeding? Okay, of course, yeah. So they ask it again. So to which point he then replied, it was common for Madeline to have nosebleeds. Then he was asked, so did she have a nosebleed while she was on holiday? And he says, I don't know. So he was confronted with the fact that Madeline's DNA was collected from behind the sofa and in the boot of the vehicle and analysed by a British laboratory, the FSS, situations also described before. And he says, I can't explain how her DNA got there. He remembers that after it was known that Madeline had disappeared, he looked for her all over the apartment, and he particularly remembered having looked under all the beds. Now look at that photo that's in front of you there. That's a shambles. What are you saying? What are you talking about? Why are you looking under that bed?
Totally.
It's laughable. If it is, you have to laugh because you're like, what? They're just like, if you're a police officer, right, and you're listening to that and you see these crime scene photos, you're like,
absolutely.
This is the same guy who said the apartment was locked and then had to change it, and then he says actually it was unlocked and I went around the back door. So it's damning, you know.
No, it is. It's really mad. No, and like I had to obviously take a few wee notes. Basically, the whole sedation thing. The fact that Kate checked the twins' breathing, the fact that the twins didn't wake up when the lights were put on, when there was people in and out. They were also reportedly didn't wake up when they were being handed to other people that weren't family members and then taken to another villa. And
another apartment.
I'm sorry, but come on, anybody that's had kids, nieces, nephews, you know, kids wake up, they pick up. Now, everybody's energy would have been up to here because they're all panicking, and they kids would have picked up on that.
Well, so that's a great point. That's a great point.
Also, sorry, I had to move away list. There was drugs found in the apartment. That was an antihistamine. Which is actually banned in quite a lot of countries and was a US brand, which I thought was quite bizarre with them both being for the UK. Obviously, they're both doctors, they're both qualified anaesthetists. Jerry specialising in heart surgery, I think it is, isn't it?
Correct, yeah. Well done.
And the drug that they found was terfenadine. And anything with an INE is a sleepy. It's a sedative, whether it be an antihistamine or like quetiapine, which is an antipsychotic, anything that's an INE. Sorry, I know these things because obviously I've dabbled on a couple of meds, you know. So just what the GPs gave me, and I end up researching everything and I learned everything. So yeah, that was found, and obviously that's got a sedative effect, and you need a tiny wee bit of a tablet, which could be crushed in the food, whatever.
They're going on holiday. What are they doing? Like, this isn't in their house. This is on holiday.
Maddie's chart that was shown in that documentary with the stars to stay in bed, that's a perfect reason for them to sedate her, because they don't want their night ruined by their daughter. You know, it's just so. And one other wee thing on the drugs aspect, I believe that the other villa that they went to, there was gloves and a syringe.
Yes.
And was it like a vial of something?
Yes.
And was that just found just outside the apartment or in the apartment? I didn't quite catch that bit.
That was, I believe, that was in the apartment in a drawer.
In the second apartment that they kind of stayed in while everything was happening.
I think so.
Yeah. Which I thought was bizarre, because it's like, well, who are you sedating now?
Imagine packing for your holidays, right? And you're like, have I got my shorts, my swimming stuff, my surgical gloves? Like, what the?
I mean, I would understand if you're a doctor. I don't know. Maybe you'd have it engraved and you take a wee first aid kit, but you should take a first aid kit on holiday anyway. No, I get that. And I totally get what you're saying. It's just all weird, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, and I'm going to mention a wee thing, because this could, and remember, everything that we say, guys, is really for you to go and do your own research. If there's something that you think, no, that's crazy what they're saying, go and check it out. The PJ files are there for everybody to read. I believe there's 11,822 pages or whatever, and I think Craig's probably read them all. And I'm getting there. What I do like, and I have to say again, is Richard D. Hall's literally just went and put them all into like about 20 videos.
Yeah.
But if not more, and I watched Peter Hyatt's statement analyst again, analysis. I've done that again. Analysis. I was going to try and get through one stream without me messing up one word. God damn it! But sorry, I just have to run these wee things past you. So the thing that I was going to say, Jerry's brother, John McCann, who heads, I believe, a lot of the filtering of the correspondence from a place in Glasgow, the head office, and he worked for AstraZeneca.
Yes, that's right.
Anyway, excuse me, but I meant to ask you earlier, do you remember that there is a statement from the pharmacy place? It was either from AstraZeneca, it was a place that John McCann worked, and it said that we have given him indefinite leave because his nieces went missing, blah blah blah. But was that not the 1st of May that was, or is that being doctored? Can you confirm that?
Yeah, so that I think that's slightly misleading.
Okay.
What I believe is that page, that whole site, wasn't even active at that time. So
okay, right, interesting. Just a fake, like, or a Photoshop.
I think it's real, but I think it's maybe slightly misleading. But you know, it's another. It's still another like. You know, you're like, okay, because there is a lot of people that do believe that Madeline died around about the 29th, 30th April. She didn't even see the Sunday, Monday. Down to the, and I find that really difficult, but I would never ever say to someone like absolutely no chance, because the case is so mad.
The only reason that I think that it wasn't the 3rd of May is that last picture, right? And it is because Jerry is so white. The kids are white, and it's just like, now wait a minute, you would have got a wee bit colour. He's clearly sweating. He's not quite acclimatized to, you know, they've got their feet in the pool and whatever. But and right enough, the weather doesn't match, because that day was meant to have been cloudy. I mean, you do get breaks in clouds. You do. I mean, I've been to Portugal myself. It is quite an overcast place, but it does get breaks with the sunshine. And I mean, I went in February, so May probably would have been better. But yeah, that's the one that doesn't sit right with me. Sorry?
It was still the same when I was there. It was like you got roasting hot, and then the cloud would come over the sun, and then it would cool down, and then it would. Yeah, so I know what you're saying.
Edinburgh.
Aye, well, apart from minus the hot. But yeah, so I do. So yeah, I go back and forth with that, right?
Oh, and I've got another wee thing. Sorry, I'll leave to run past you.
Don't move on just yet, because I want to address that. So I do go back and forth with the earlier death, right? And I do think sometimes I do go, is that? And then I go, but see, for it to have been that early, like the Sunday, it's too early, because the amount of people that seen her, you know, in and out the creche, and I know people go, yeah, but it could have been one of the other kids looked very like Madeline. But at that age, the kids know their names, so that you're having to tell me that kid would have to be responding to Madeline. I start finding it a bit much. I'm just like, it's just too much. You know, I go with the crying night. I think the night before when she cried and she was heard by Mrs. Fenn. So if you're believing that Madeline died on the Sunday, you're telling me Mrs. Fenn's lying about that kid in the apartment below that cried. So she says she heard an older kid crying, and it was crying for daddy, daddy. So
sorry, how can you differentiate between an older kid and a baby? The twins would only, sorry,
would
but
the
this
twins
is...
be able to speak though? Like, would they be able to say daddy, daddy, daddy over? Like, you would know. You know, a 1-year-old saying daddy and a 3-year-old.
I get that, but just
But then, how would Mrs. Fenn? Why would she lie about that? She has no point. Like,
did she not kind of change her statement after a while? At first, she was like, "Oh, I heard a child. It does sound like a wee bit older," and then I heard that she changed things. So I don't know if certain people got in her ear, you know, when people started flying over from the government or whatever, and maybe started getting right. I don't think the 29th is in the definite date. I just don't think it was the 3rd, because I feel that they needed time to clean it up.
Yeah,
they needed to talk to each other. Then this is one wee thing that really got to me, and I've just remembered. They wrote a timeline down between them. They all wrote you. But do you know what they wrote it on? Madeline's sticker book. Now, I'm sorry, if my child had gone missing, I would be like, "Daddy, touch her stuff. I want to keep her stuff." You know, but that's just me as a mum.
And on that exact note, Zoe, do you know when they done their first timeline? When they done it? Literally about half an hour after they raised the alarm. So instead of going out looking for her, because she could have been anywhere, half an hour in, an hour in, she could have been anywhere. Could have
wandered herself to the crate, you know, still under the resort.
So instead of doing that, they sat and wrote their first timeline. Then they had to revise that. They wrote a second timeline, and then I think the next day they wrote a third timeline. So they wrote 3 timelines, all different. It's just crazy.
Sorry, I'm just looking at the comments. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm just engrossed with Craig's knowledge.
So what Lauren is saying there is it's a fair point, right? And I can only give what I think. I can only say what I think, and you're totally allowed to say I don't go with that at all. But I just can't. I just see a 3-year-old. Remember, she was nearly 4, so she's almost like my son's age. Compared to when he was 1, his cry would be different. His cry would be different. His saying daddy would be different. You would know the difference from a 1-year-old to a near on 4-year-old. That's just me. Yeah. If you believe then you believe that, but that's fine. You just have to find your own way in the case, I guess. So,
no. I love how people are like asking things that they want to know and like running things past you and stuff like that. Another wee thing was Kate and Jerry asked to get the kids right. Kate and Jerry thought there was a big chance that Madeline and the twins have been drugged by the abductor, right?
Yeah.
So if they really thought that, which I feel was possibly to cover their back, but you know, that's my opinion. They took 5 months before they requested a drugs test.
Yeah,
which we all know it would have been out their system. Their hair would have been grown and cut and what have you. Like, no.
Yeah, that is what they do through the whole case. There's a great Twitter account, Babs. Search Babs McCann or 10 p.m. Pradaluz McCann. They're fantastic, and they make a great point on that. That exact.
I'll put their link in the description box after the video, and I can edit it. If there's anybody else that you would like mention in the description box, just like message me.
What the McCanns constantly do, right, is they preempt through the whole case. They're always one step ahead, right? So it's the same when the dogs came in, and it's the same. Seemingly, they were ready to be charged, and they flew out the day before they were about to be charged for concealing a body, etc. Yeah, exactly, Crone. The voice, that's what I believe. So I see, again, this is just how I deal with it. As I go, when it gets too much, I'm just like, no, I can't go with that. So when somebody's saying, yeah, but a 1-year-old can say daddy and it can't, but I'm like, yeah, but it is, it's different. So you're trying to force it to fit. So I'm just let it flow. Why would she lie? Of course, it's slightly different. You know the difference. Just let it come to you. And
was it not the daughter? Her daughter said that she said that her daughter was staying with her, but then it turned out that the daughter wasn't staying with her. She was like in another hotel or something. I think that's maybe why I got a little bit, why are they lying?
When a really unbelievable thing happened.
Thanks,
when I went to Portugal in Praia and I was sitting in the pub and I was having a pint, I was watching the football, and unbelievably there was a table next to me, right, and there was a group older people and they were chatting and they started chatting about Mrs. Fenn, and she was like, "Oh, is that?" And I was just like, "Wow!" Like the place is so, it's so like Madeline is like so ingrained in there. That is exactly it. Mate, you've hit the nail on the head. It's Coronation Street. Everybody knows everybody. Robert Murat's house is 200 down the road, 200 yards down the road from the apartment. That blew my mind. I was just like, oh my God, I didn't realize that, like, I can actually see his apartment. And he said on the night he didn't hear any commotion. He just slept out right through. I was like, no chance. Like, my opinion, no chance. No chance.
Totally. Like Shukesha said from The Spiritual Effect, if they had been left alone in the UK, they would have been sent to prison and other children taken away. And that's his personal view. And I feel that, you know, if it was a couple from like a worse area or from my area or something, you know, they would literally be put in jail. There has been other parents that have been put in jail for things that are less than this.
Well, the PJ didn't. They actually almost, I believe, felt sorry for them, I think, because they believed them at first. So, and I think there's something in Portugal where that you have, if you've got the chance of going for a higher charge, you go for the higher charge. So when as the case progressed, they believed they could get them on a higher charge than neglect. So they went for that, because I think if you charge on like neglect, right, and they got found not guilty, then you can't go for a higher charge. So they wouldn't be able to. So you're running the risk.
Can't put it up. Basically, they can bring it down, sort of thing.
Yeah. So you can't go for manslaughter if you can't get neglect. So they went for the higher charge. So,
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, Sean. Totally agree with that.
Yeah, I was just saying that with Shug, like Murat. Now, I didn't really have a massive chance to dive into him. We were going to for this one, and also David Payne. But I didn't have a big chance. I don't know if you had. I mean, I know you know your stuff, Craig, but we were going to do a wee bit of a deeper dive. There's so many things attached to him that's just, you know, the way he flew out. Really, he booked his flight in the middle of the night and basically like flew out and
never done that before. I don't want to give too much away just now, right? Because I know I'm live streaming and I know people are listening and whatever. But I'm working with someone on a running hypothesis, right? And we're just trying to piece a couple of things together, right? I don't rule. Again, this is my personal belief. I'm only running off the evidence that I can see and read. I just hold your horses on Murat, kind of what he knew and how he knew and who he knew. You know, he knew it was a heavy involved with property. You know,
yes, I've seen that. Yeah,
so there's things.
That's the thing. That's why I was thinking, like, honestly, the amount of, and with David Payne, and I'm only referring to the Gasper statements, his umming and ahhing and erming in his statement, like, and he kept saying, you know, and that's like somebody that tells fibs who's wanting a confirmation that you are believing them. So if they go, you know, and you go, yeah, they think, all right, well, they're believing me, because I watch a lot of body language stuff, so obviously I'm an expert.
We touched on David Payne in part one, right? And for anyone who has any interest in the case, just Google David Payne, Madeleine McCann, PJ Files, and read his statement, right? And there is a belief that there was a second statement that they've not released. They've held back a few statements, and we believe that David Payne's got another statement there that's been held back, along with Mary Smith's statement, that's never been released. So, what's wrong, Zoe?
It's my bunny. I could just feel something moving, and then he's trying to knock a pillow off because it's in his space, and bunnies don't like things that are not like there all the time. So yeah, he's having a wee hike to all the pillows. He's a funny wee guy, honestly. Oh, wee shit. Oh, he's knocked it off. Perfect. He's happy now. So obviously it's really weird because you said to me, right, what we'll do in the show is we'll both say what we think happened. So I was like, yeah, definitely. This is what I think happened. And then I refreshed my brain and I was like, oh, wait a minute, actually.
Yeah, because it's the same thing as that early death. It's like it's hard. It's really hard. But the reason
That's the Gaspar ones. And if anybody wants to look up the Gaspar statements, I feel really uncomfortable doing it online, what they said in the Gaspar statements that David Payne said had done at the table. So, I mean, if you want to sit and do it, bash on, but I just not.
It's a concern. And one of the biggest concerns is that those statements were held back. So they were given, I believe, to Leicestershire Police, and they held them back for 6 months. Until Amaral was taken off the case, and then the statements came forward from the Gaspars.
Interesting,
so, isn't it? It's like really, and actually her husband, Katrina Gaspar's husband, in fact, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say what I was about to say.
Right, that's fine. You keep that little thing to yourself. Lorraine, I think Murat had a location that they used to hide the body. Also, I wouldn't have been happy having any unrelated man bathing my kids, even close friends. Absolutely. I said this to my mum. I think it was yesterday, the day before I was watching the stuff.
I agree, Lorraine.
I was like, I just not, no matter even if, not, it's just weird. All weird. Don't like it. I
mean, and I can speak as probably, I am just an average guy, right? Everything about me is I'm just an average guy. I like my beer, I like my football, I like my kids, I love my kids. But it's like, see when my wife says bath time to the kids, I'm like, class, I'm going to stick the Xbox on, or I'm going to like go and grab a beer or go and get a coffee, or you know, it's like quiet time because the kids and my wife are away doing the bath time.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, but I'm just saying as a guy on holiday, like I'd probably be even worse to be like, let's be away down to the bar or something like that. I wouldn't think like, right, kids, come on, I'm going to go away and bath you, and like, can I go and bath my pals' kids as well? It's just like,
that's just weird. Like I think Dad bathing his own kids, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
I know.
It's really annoying me.
Yeah, right. But what I'm trying to say is that like, at what point do you go like, you look forward to it, and then you're like, I'll bathe your kids as well. That's like me saying to you, we go on holiday, and I'm like, come on, Dylan, let's go and have a bath.
Let's go and have a shower.
What you doing, mate? You know what I mean? And then that's when you start piecing it together, right? And you start. I've got to be really careful now where I go with this, but you start piecing that together with the Gaspar statements and the sucking finger and rubbing nipple that they were accused of.
Yeah. And that was twice that was said. Excuse me, once down in Cornwall, I think, and once on a foreign holiday that David Payne had referenced that. And
you then fit that with what I believe is Madeline's real last photo, which is the Lolita picture, and you start to get worried. You're like, is there
right? I showed my mum that yesterday, you know, and the one that we're talking about is the one when Maddie's got. I've not got a picture of it because it haunts me when she's got the blue eyeshadow on that supposedly she put on herself. There's no way she put that on herself. A 3-year-old couldn't put makeup on like that. It's impossible.
Yeah.
But I said to my mum, I was like, oh look, she looks really, and my mum was like, nothing wrong with her. And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, she looks tired. And she was like, no, just looks like a wee bairn just looking down the thing.
That's good though. Like I like that because
maybe we were so like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you get that? And I don't mean that disrespectfully.
No, because I do that too. I do that because my wife has no interest in it. Right? She's just that's your thing.
Yeah.
I'm no bothered. So
but that's quite a good thing as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So every now and then I'll come to her with a bit of information or this, and she'll go, and then she'll give me an objective. You know, like because this is that, and then you know you're just looking too much into it. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'll go away and I'll read more. You know, so
because I think they can look too much into things, and obviously when it's a negative subject, we look at things negatively. We don't go, oh yeah, there's something that points towards it being abducted. Do you know what I mean? We go, oh shit, there's something else. Sorry,
just quickly going back to before we move on from that crying night, right? The thing that's so interesting about that night is that's the first night that I believe that's the same night that they were at dinner and Kate left the table early because Jerry invited over a woman to the table. So Kate took the huff and went back home early, and Jerry didn't come home till later on, I think. And then I think Kate then slept in with the kids for the first time ever, she said. For the first time ever, she slept away from Jerry, and Jerry didn't even notice. He was snoring away in another bedroom. He didn't even notice that there was anything wrong. So I put a red flag on that because I'm like, that holiday's got so much snow. Doesn't that holiday sound like the worst holiday ever? Like, I can't think. You have one or two bad things, but the amount of bad things that are happening, it's like, it's too much going on here.
After hearing Peter Hyatt going through a lot of the statement, you know, the whole, it was a usual night, you know, it was just the state, and it's like, so that's red flags that it wasn't, it was far from usual.
Because what is it? So tell me what a usual night is, because they just go, well, it's just the same as every other night. Well, tell me about it. You know, what did you do? What is a normal night?
A lot of things added that weren't needed. Like, you know, the kids went and done the usual things, toilet, teeth. And he's like, of course, that's what kids, you know, what's unnecessary information. That's what is a lot of planted unnecessary information in the statements. And that's like them trying to fill it up with just crap.
When they say, and this is just me being me, because I'm so pernickety, I'm a Virgo, right? I can't help it. If Sonia ever does watch us back, she'd laugh at this bit, because they all sit around the bed, right? They paint this picture of them all sitting around the bed that night, and they read Happy and You Know It, and I'm like, you can't read Happy and You Know It, you sing it.
You sing it.
It's a bloody song. You sing it. So I don't know. It's just, I was just like,
And another wee thing as well, that she didn't sleep brilliant at night, like we know, because of the charts and what have you. But she gave her biscuits and crisps before her bed.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be giving my kid biscuits, because that's got refined sugar in it, which is obviously going to like make them hyper. So I thought that was really weird.
One of the things that Amaral noticed is that in the sink or in the kitchen area, there was only 2 glasses of milk, not 3.
Oh, interesting. Really? Really? Something mad one, eh? There's just so many. When you get to a wee sort of, oh yeah, that's that, then something else just like the cuddle cat, okay? Because we need to discuss cuddle cat quickly. You know, Kate's excuse for cuddle cat alerting to decomposition was that, in fact, I think it was her mum that said it, was that she'd been in touch with 6 bodies, you know, at her work and in the morgue and whatever. And it's another thing is they washed it. Now, I'm sorry, if that was my kid's last toy, it's going to smell of her. Unless it's got puke or feces on it, you ain't washing that.
Yeah, so she said it was because it had sun cream on it, and it had the beach and sand and stuff.
You would want every grain to be on your body because your daughter's touched it. Sorry, I might be a dramatic mum and a passionate mum, but I would not wash it. I would don't touch any of her stuff. Like, do you know what I mean?
I don't know what you mean.
And stuff.
I know. It's too much. It's just too much. And the fact that we can never get away from is that I know I've just got conscious of the time. We've got 10 minutes here, right? So there's quite a lot to cram in these last 10 minutes, right? But the one of the things I keep saying, we'll see. One of the things that I'm really, really, really passionate about, and if anyone is listening to this, right, and you're a parent, please listen to what I'm about to say to you, right? And if somehow this reaches Sean and Emily McCann, I want them to think about this as well. Anyone, right, who has a parent. When Madeline was abducted, right, and Kate walks in and sees that Madeline was taken and she just knew she was abducted, Sean and Emily are sleeping, and Kate decides to run out the apartment and run down into the tapas area, knowing that Madeline is abducted, right?
Exactly.
Now, to me, as a dad, as a parent to 2 beautiful kids, if one of them is taken, I ain't leaving that kid in that apartment. You know, what she done there was leaving the kids at that is the most vulnerable point of their life.
And 2 smaller children who are smaller would be easier to steal. Yep,
exactly,
I agree.
Exactly. So I am so bothered by that. If I ever had the chance to meet her and talk to her, I would say, talk me out of this. Like, I want to believe you. Why did you do that? Oh, it's white noise. I don't buy it. You go the other way. You scoop your kids up. You find strength from some people lifting up cars, and when
absolutely
find the strength to these babies. One you just knew was abducted. You find the strength. You scoop them up and you raise. I've been there. I've been to the scene of crime. You could stand on that balcony and scream, and they would hear you.
That's what I was going to ask you. Did she come down to the tapas, or did she stand on the balcony and shout? Because I tell you, I'd be standing on that balcony screaming, shouting, wanting everybody to hear me so that they know that my daughter's missing and you better look for her now. Am I wrong?
She went down to the tapas.
That's weird, mate.
So I just have such a big problem with that.
I need to get a red flag. I'm actually going to purchase a wee red flag.
Because
there's too many.
The whole story, people miss that out. And I as I said to you earlier, I watched the I watched the Netflix thing last night, a couple of episodes of it, and I was like, it gives me so much drive to go again to do this stuff, because I'm like, put somebody like me on that show, because there's nobody saying the stuff that I'm saying. Nobody. You're all talking about Germans and
well, I know we've only got 10 minutes, and that's what I wanted to like. It must really frustrate you alongside all the other people that are, I don't want to say like McCann daft, or like really invested in the case, shall we say, right? When things like searches, Kristen Bruckner, like all these things, that woman for Poland who claimed to be Maddie, like you must literally just want to put your head through the screen, like. And are all these little things so that Operation Grange still gets funded? Is this to give false hopes that she might be found, when obviously there's no evidence that she was abducted, but there's plenty to show that decomposition was in that apartment?
They were close to winding up Grange about a year and a half ago. They announced it was going to stop, and I think what gave them a fright is that they realised that opens them up to freedom information requests. So I think that,
does it?
Yeah, as soon as that stops, you boom, get your freedom information request in. Because what's our money being spent on? Like, what is it going on? They're not doing what they should be doing.
25 million or something.
It's at 14 million, I think.
14 million, sorry. I mean, still, like, shoot.
It's ridiculous.
Crazy,
It's 14 million pounds that's been spent, right? And they've not even went back to ground zero. They've never questioned the McCanns. They've never questioned any of the tapas. They've just went in, as Colin Sutton said, former Metropolitan Police guy who was offered the job to take the McCann case and was told you can't look at the McCanns. The first thing you do is you clear your feet. You start at the very start, right? You start off and you listen to the statements, you piece it together. Jerry says it's locked, Jerry says it's unlocked. Kate's fingerprint on the window only open from the inside. Amaral says there was no, I didn't realise this, right? But when somebody wears gloves and goes to rob a place or abduct or whatever, and they touch something, you can still get the trace of the glove.
Yeah, so, that's right.
You know, I didn't realise that. I just thought there was nothing there. But he says that there was no trace of a glove, and the only fingerprint that was found on the window was Kate's. So that's when they started looking at the McCanns, because they were like, if that's true and it's only her fingerprint on it, then that means that she staged that window. She said that the window was open. So why would she stage the window being open? Well, then you know.
Well, exactly. They kept changing at the beginning of the statements about being open, shut, shimmy, jimmy. You couldn't reach that. I mean, I've seen your videos, and you couldn't like easily climb into that window.
No,
plus, there wasn't any marks on it, and there would be marks on it if you're scrambling in and out, not going through a patio or another easier way with a child.
So I don't know if anyone watching this has kept up to speed with Bruckner, but there was a thing released last week, I think, that the Germans found a lockpick thing.
That could open all locks.
But what they're forgetting, right? So they're trying to force that into Madeline's case, but they're forgetting that we have the police statements that they say the apartment was unlocked anyway.
Exactly.
So what is the bloody use of a lockpick? So what, it's like, my belief, right, is that this is what I believe before we start winding this down or whatever, right? This is my belief is it's not going to be a deathbed confession. You're not going to get that. It's too far. Yeah. It's gone. I even believe that if they wanted to do it, they couldn't. Now they couldn't.
But we get too many other people in trouble, unless somebody gets it in alternative media. But
what make this case, and I hate to say it, right, will be mainstream media. It's when they decide to turn the light on that part of the case never spoke about. That's when it'll come, because as we've seen with the newsreaders just now that are getting in thing, it just becomes like almost like popular. So it's like, okay, there's one newsreader, there's another guy that's been accused, and
supposedly, allegedly.
The thing is, we know that anyway. We know what it's like when you go high up and they just become like men become chauvinistic, disgusting idiots, right? We know that happens. So what I'm going with that is that we know it happens anyway, right? And it's just when the media decide to turn a light on it, and they'll just
for all the normies that are basically clueless.
Well, and then they hang the boy out to dry. Like, we can talk about it now, Hugh Edwards. They've hung him out to dry, and quite rightly so. He's a disgusting, horrible guy. What he's done is just disgusting. But how long did they sit on the story? How long did they know until they decided let's run it? you know.
I know.
So
I also think that he's a huge distraction for people doing a hell of a lot worse than him.
absolutely,
to be honest with
the
you.
Boris Johnson
And-
WhatsApp was going on in the background and that, and nobody
Oh,
cares.
it's always distractions, and then it's the whole mental health card. So now it's
don't.
like, oh, I've got mental health problems, so that's made me a predator. No, mate, mental health doesn't make you a predator, but being a predator may give you mental health problems. You know what I mean? And there's all these celebrities, oh, pure human, you know, he's got sex addiction. Nah, mate, he just got caught. And he's clambering in, and along with Scoff, like, I'm hoping that this really, truly is the beginning of the end, but they're everywhere. You know, they're everywhere. Like BBC, whatever companies, schools, hospitals, there's bad people. But I do hope it's the end of it, or it's going to be the online harms bill because somebody's going to take their life. And then it'll be like, oh, and that's when I heard that Hugh had mental health. I thought, right, he's going to take his life, or he's going to attempt to take his life, and that'll push the online harms bill.
Exactly.
Which is what
that has been rumbling along for so long, and they used Nicola Bulley's case, right? And then it's like it comes into the Hugh Edwards thing, and then the other thing, and it's going to be mental health, and then it's going to be, and then they're just going to say, because just now, right, the internet has ran away from them, because we can sit and do things like this. You know, Sonia can do her rise.
But supposedly Scoff's been bringing live streams down and things down that I've been talking about. He's been having channels shut left, right, down the centre. That didn't still come out right, you know what I mean? Schofield does. Aye. Getting loads of things shut down because he's getting his wee knickers in a twist of being caught. It's when they get caught. Oh, honestly, just give me a wee busty spoon with them.
And they're so like mental health, you know.
Amen, Shug. Amen. He has zero tolerance for harming children.
Yeah,
exactly. Absolutely. So, yes, we are coming to the end of part 2.
I can hear my kids shouting and screaming down the stairs. So.
If we get to 1,000 likes, we'll be a part 3. Right? Yeah. So if we get to 1,000
we are going to come back to OnlyCans, like being OnlyCans, because we've got a few folk that we want to bring on and stuff, and we've got Trudes that we need to bring on and have a laugh.
Yeah, we need to get our wee humour back, have a laugh, do some impressions. I'll get some videos that are funny, and we can just get back to what, because OnlyCans wasn't about this. No, but we having so much knowledge, I just had to be like, right, let's discuss this. And obviously there's more things coming out in the media about searches, and they found this, and I just thought, oh God, you just literally want to get your head and go bang on the table, and I get that.
With that, right, what I've learned to do over the years is trust myself, trust what I know, and whatever they try and print and say, I don't we
do that.
I can't.
I know, I get. Oh yeah, you can't now. It's too close to home for us actually to cover that. Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. And I think Frankie's barking back at Brody.
Can you hear that?
Sorry. Didn't be daft. How lucky am I that no cat has jumped on me? There's none of the window. Oh, the bunny pushed a pillow. But hey, we can deal with that. Absolutely. And sorry if we haven't answered and got to any of your questions. The comments have been going super fast. Yeah, it's been a cracker, Craig. I think this is awesome.
If I was more technical, like savvy, I'd be able to have YouTube up and read the comments, but I don't know how to do that. You'll need to tell me.
You just get your phone, hon.
I've got my phone, but then I'm too busy talking to read my phone.
Oh, but yeah, we multitask.
Can I not be able to get it up on the screen somehow?
If you, what, you on your laptop? We can discuss this afterwards.
All right, okay, sorry, I'm forgetting my life.
No, let's go. I'm glad that Shin's not made it. She's going to be kicking herself that she never made it.
We do have something coming. We've got something coming.
Hey, the theme tune is like working. It's coming. I'm excited. I really am. We sing it to each other every time we're coming online. Send each other voice notes. Can. I get a can.
Yeah, I really hope our WhatsApps are never leaked. Like, we'd be absolutely fucked.
Oh, Boris wouldn't have a look in me. It would just be singing. But yeah, thanks for everybody for coming. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Crone.
Yes, absolutely. I would just like to say before you go, if you could just hit the thumbs up, and if you've not subscribed already, please do. If you would like to support my wee channel any further, you can buy me a coffee at that address down there. I'm not even going to attempt to say that. Yeah, you can buy me a coffee, and all the money goes to the channel. So I'm going to play that little video again because I just want to cover our back. This has all been facts. It's been our opinion. We're not here to hang, draw and quarter anyone. We're just wanting to refresh people's memories about certain facts, and then you're going to go and do your wee digging. So lots of love and light to you all. And we shall see you in hopefully part 3 if I can twist his arms. But yeah, love and light to you all. We love you, we love you, we love you. And I'm just going to play this again.
I would like to emphasise that I strongly believe in freedom of speech. I don't have a problem somebody purporting a theory, writing, fiction, suggestions.
Brody's still barking. Right, love yous all. Bye.